Spend the first day at Butlins with us as a family of 11 and find out how much it cost. So we travelled from Scotland and left at 8 a.m. We put in £60 fuel and then spent another £60 on food and items on the way down. We didn't arrive until about 5:30 and then we just went and checked in. For our gold apartment, for 7 people with the food court dining, it cost £601 from Monday to Friday. For the silver rooms, for 4 people, it came to £288, and again, that was with the food court dining for 4 people. As we arrived so late, we just went straight to the apartment and then on to get our dinner. After we had food, all of the younger children were really tired, so we took them back to the apartment. My husband stayed there with them and we'd missed the fair and everything, so we headed to the arcade where we ended up spending £50 between 7 of the children. Then at the shop we spent another £23 on juice, milk and snacks for the evening. Come and spend our second day at Butlins with us. So we started off in the morning and went for the breakfast as we have the food court dining, and then because we missed the fair yesterday, we went straight onto that and spent about an hour there. Everything here is free apart from the bungees and the go-karts. They're the only rides that cost extra money. We had booked in to the circus for 1 o'clock and we didn't actually get there till about 5 past. We didn't realise how long it would take to walk there. This again was free as part of the holiday package, but that's because swimming is limited at the moment to the toddler pool, and I think that gets fixed at the end of July. Mark popped into town, it's only about 10 minutes drive away, and picked up a Greggs for their lunch, as that's not part of the food court dining. So that cost us about £23 in total for everything that we got. Then we headed to swimming. Again, this is free as part of the package, so we didn't have to pay for that. We went at 3:30 and it was fairly quiet. It wasn't empty, but the children managed to get on all of the slides. Then it was time for dinner. By the time we got out and changed, as it was at 3:30, we didn't actually end up heading to dinner until about 6. So we went and had dinner, headed to the Sky Park, which is why Sia is covered in food. Again, that was all free. The babies went back to the apartment as they were really tired from swimming for the day and everything we had done. And I took the older children, the eldest 6, back to the arcades. This seemed to be a little routine while we were there, and they had £5 each, so we ended up spending £30 at the arcades for that night. This is day 3 at Butlins Skegness. Everything that we managed to fit into the day and how much it cost in total. So first off, we went and had breakfast. We had the food court dining and we got there about 10, I think, this time. Everyone had breakfast and then we went off to the football. This was the 8 to 12-year-old football. Again, it's free as part of the package. I think it's on every single day. This was on for an hour, and there's also one in the afternoon that you can book, and that's £10 each. But we didn't do that as we had so many other things to do. Caleb did that. The younger children had a bit of a kick around just at the side of it, and then because they waited so long, we went to the Little Stars fairground. This is, I think it's 4 rides, might be 5, and a little playground. It's just past the main fairground. If you carry on walking, it's on the right there. So we took everybody came with us, but the younger children went on these rides. Like the other fairground, this is all free to use. The first bit of money that we spent was on Domino's. So we ordered 2 of the large pizzas. They were $9.99 each for collection. and Mark went and picked those up and also did a £40 shop at Tesco for juice, milk, snacks, all of the little in-between bits, while the children played outside. While we were waiting for that, I went onto the app and they had swimming slots. It's one per person or it's one per booking while you're there, but you can go on each day to book more. Then we went for dinner, and again, Maeve and Corbin were really tired, so they went back to the apartment and went to sleep. So I took the older 7. We went up to Red's this time, not for the entertainment, but for these ones. The kids see them all over the place, and we bought 2 of those. One was $8.99, one was $9.99, and they loved them. Next, of course, we went to the arcade, but this time we went to the one that's in the pavilion, as we hadn't been to that one yet. We'd been going to the actual arcade, and the children had £5 each again. So that came to £35 in total. Welcome to day 4 of our holiday at Butlins. So we went down for breakfast as usual. Then we went straight down to the Little Stars playground. It was a little bit busier than usual, but there was still no more than a 5-minute wait for each of the rides. So the younger children went on there. Then we went to the main fair, so the bigger children could go on the rides that they wanted to go on to. And we spent about an hour there in total. This, as always, was free and part of the holiday package. Next up, we had booked the Peppa Pig Circus for 1:30. We went across there at about 1:25 and we managed to get seats without any problem, and the show started shortly after. This was only on for about half an hour, so we popped out to get some lunch. We ended up at McDonald's, and that came to £45 for everyone to have a meal. The bigger kids headed off to the fun fair, and we went to Sky Park. We ended up meeting up with them, going to the Sky Park, and everybody stayed there for a little while. By that time, it was dinner, and we decided to go really early as the children were booked in for the high ropes at 5:30. So we headed there at 4, which was probably the earliest that we got there all week. Next, we headed to the high ropes, and this was £15 per person, so it was £75 for all of the older 5 kids to take part in this. Then finally, the children went back to the accommodation, and the children had seen Bingo Bango the day before, and they wanted to take part in that. So we spent £23 on slushies and drinks while we were in there, and then headed back to the apartment. So here is part 5 and the final part of our trip to Butlins, although I do still have the gold accommodation video to put up. So we only have the morning left here, as we have to be out by 10 a.m, but our children didn't know that we were surprising them with a trip to Haven straight after. We headed back to the fairground as the children wanted to go on the go-karts. They wanted to do it all week, but it was super busy. And when we got there, it was still super busy. I think everyone had the same idea. So we just went on all of the rides. It was nice and quiet, and a lot of them were actually open. Then we headed across to the go-karts, where we paid £35 for 7 of us. We only had to pay for the 5 cars, and the babies got to go on with someone over 16. Then we went and had a little turn on the fairground stalls that were there and got a couple of teddies, and headed off on what the children thought was the drive home, but we were taking them to Haven.